If you can't win, don't lose is a well-worn footballing phrase. Does it apply to Arsenal tonight?
Well, we know that the margins are very small. I think we have two different halves. The first one where we have a lot of domination, created some big situation with players almost inside the 6-yard box to pick a player up, and we didn't find the right pass to score the goal. And the second half was a bit more struggle. We were very imprecise with the ball, which didn't allow us to counter press and be very close to the structure. Obviously, they have a lot of midfielders. They start to drop everybody, so they can put a lot of passes together outside the organization without really having anybody in the box. Because I don't think we conceded a single shot, apart from the mistake that we did in the first half. But these games then need some magic moment, and at Anfield, so they did it and they won the game. And today it didn't happen, but you cannot win it, then you cannot lose it.
You said before the match, you kind of knew how they would play from seeing their team. Mm-hmm. Did they do what you expected?
Yeah. 2 years, or it would be. And so, of course, it's going to be tense, but in the context that Arsenal actually led by 2 points on Christmas Day. And moving on to the 27th, City actually went first that day. So Arsenal went into their game in second place, as Patrick was explaining there to Mikel Arteta. He didn't need reminding, actually. But from that point, to be behind and now to be leading 6 points, then surely that is something that Arsenal have to be very happy about, Roy.
I'd be very pleased, and he spoke well there, the manager, a lot of common sense, yeah. Listen, of course, they've got big challenges, disappointed with the performance, I suppose, tonight. But a clean sheet, another point, and you're 6 points clear after 21 games. What a position to be in. Absolutely fantastic. But you have to still believe Man City and Aston Villa will keep trying to hunt them down. It'll be interesting the next few weeks in terms of the transfer window. Will players, obviously, will clubs strengthen? We see what City were going to do. Will Arsenal strengthen? But at this moment in time, Arsenal, obviously, red-hot favourites to win that title.
But might they see it as a missed opportunity, Daniel, as by the same token?
No, I think they'll be pleased with the point. Of course, the first half performance, they would have thought that they could have scored there. But look, they're comfortable at the top of the league right now. They've been performing very well and beating over the Christmas period. I mean, the manager will be very proud of his team, considering where they've come from and all that they've put into this season. He's got to be happy.
Well done for maintaining your poise as Gary arrived.
Dishevelled.
In a heap next to you. We're just hearing from Mikel Arteta, Gary, and welcome back, on whether this was a missed opportunity or whether they should actually be really happy with where they are. 6 points clear, having been 2 points ahead at Christmas.
I think both. I mean, I don't think he'll let that performance go tonight without thinking it's disappointing that his team haven't turned up. It's such a big game where the crowd were ready. It wasn't a celebration night where they were going to win the league, but it felt like a big monumental moment where they could go and get that 8 points clear, statement victory, everybody watching. But brilliant what Liverpool did in the second half. It's very difficult to actually turn a performance around when you're so defensively minded like they were, to go and then flip it into a dominating possession-based performance in the second half. That was the big surprise, and I think it shocked Arsenal.
That's right. But that took the steam out of Arsenal, didn't it? It's not as if they were counter-attacking them. They were just looking after the ball and took the sting out of the game. Extra bodies in midfield. OK, there's no cutting edge going forward, but they controlled the game in the midfield area, and Arsenal kind of know what to do.
It was a case of moments, wasn't it, Daniel? Mikel Arteta referred to it.
To being, those are the types of balls you want. I think that the issue that Gyökeres is having at times is that his job is to pin the centre-halves back. As Gary, you've worked with me, and I've been told, Daniel, stop dropping deep to get touches, stay up top and occupy the centre-halves, make your runs, occupy them, give us more room. But I think doing that, you get less touches, because if your team's a ball-dominant team that aren't penetrating centrally, Arsenal's game is get it wide and get crosses in the box. So it's about his movement and saying, OK, I'm going to go near post, I'm going to go far post, this and that. But because they're facing low blocks, there's a bank of maybe 4 or 5 defenders, so it is sort of difficult for him. Maybe he needs to say, I'm going to go across the front post, maybe I'm going to pull out and give them an option for a cutback. But again, you've got Rice making runs, you've got Marino making runs, you've got all these players. So it's going to be difficult for him.
Just good movement?
It is good movement, Roy, but I also feel like the way the team plays, they have goal scorers everywhere, but they have also goal-scoring wingers. And it's very difficult when you're the focal point, but you're not the first option. I don't look at him being the first option in the team. Like, we're looking for you at every action. Harry Kane, when you see him, he's the first option. You know, there's a lot of players who are the first option. I don't think Gyökeres is the first option.
I know what Daniel means, because when Arsenal get it in wide areas, they do play that extra pass. They don't tend to put it into the box at a point whereby it's predictable for the man in the middle to know when to make the run. So I get that a little bit. You know, if you think about sometimes Mo Salah cuts on his left foot, or Mahrez when he was at City, you know when they're cutting that, they're going to drift that ball in. You can make a run off the back of knowing it's coming. There is a bit with Arsenal whereby on the sides, Saka might play a little ball into Timber, then it'll come back, and then it'll go back and they'll recycle it, and he might have made 2 or 3 little runs. So maybe there's a bit of that, but when the ball does fly across that box, I just don't sometimes see it.
Is that about the striker then adapting to his teammates, not the other way around? Do you know what I mean?
It is. I think you do have to adapt as a forward, and you've got to be ready to do that. But I don't know if we can judge Gyökeres on goals this year. I'm just being transparent. I think.
Sorry, Daniel, on that performance tonight, then, if he's had 7 touches in the game and he's occupied centre halves a little bit, do you think they'll? You know, he's played it the best part of an hour, I think. What do you think the reflection would be from his coach on what he added to the game this evening?
I think the coach said you did what we wanted you to do.
Do you think so?
I think. Look, if you look at Manchester City, and I'm not comparing Gyökeres to Haaland, how many times have we talked about Haaland not touching the ball often? He's only touched it 4 times this half, 6, 7, 8 times. I think just the way Arsenal play and the way Gyökeres plays, it's not a perfect match. But I think he's a very good centre-forward who's won the Golden Shoe. He scored, 67
I don't mind strikers who don't do much, but when it comes into the box, they're sharp and they're alive to it. He's in the box the way he's outside the box. He just looks a bit sluggish and lacks seeing that real quality, maybe confidence as well.
I'm interested to see what Daniel... I mean, look, I'd be interested to know what Mikel Arteta is actually thinking and saying to Gyökeres in respect of his performance tonight, because I think I agree with Roy in the sense that I'm actually not bothered about what he does outside the box, but I would expect... I was actually quite excited about Arsenal having a sort of focal point centre-forward, because I think that's what they miss. But I would have expected when that ball flies across that box, I'd just see him sort of like charging in and sliding and just sort of getting on the end of it. But then he sometimes doesn't quite make that real definite run.
You know what I would say? If with those chances we showed, right, where we showed the Trossard and we showed the Saka actions, they were all cutbacks. They're not and going, where are you? Now, the one at the end, you would say, if Gyökeres is on the pitch, maybe he's in that area, which is the corridor of uncertainty. That's
Rice
the favourite.
Put a great one in the first half. And was that Rice? Was it Rice put a great one in the first time again?
Yeah.
But we're sitting there going, where's your striker?
Yeah, where's the striker?
Yeah, the one with the left foot.
For me, with strikers and with midfielders and wingers, the key is understanding your teammates and knowing timing. That's the best thing, I'm sure, for you and for you during your careers. Your strikers and your wingers will talk to you, go, listen, I want it here. When that happens, I'm going to make that run. Those are the conversations you have to have. If you don't have those, you're not going to get chances. It's just not going to happen.
With or without a goal tonight, they've gone 6 points clear. But it's not just the Premier League, of course, that Arsenal have got their minds on. And actually the time of the season when they start to think about other competitions as well, with the FA Cup this weekend at Portsmouth, then the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final at Chelsea next Wednesday, and also the Champions League, where they look home and hose pretty much through the first phase of that competition. Is that helpful, Gary, when you are trying to hunt down your first league title for 22 years, to have these other distractions? It's
inevitable, because if you're going to win your first league title for the first time in a long time, the likelihood is that you're going to have finished in the top 4 this season before, so you'll be in the Champions League. The FA Cup's always started in January. And for Arsenal now, obviously, they have the Carabao Cup as well, don't they? So, look, the Carabao Cup is the one that maybe adds the sort of added complexity to it. But the Champions League and the FA Cup are always going to be there in January for them. It's that Carabao Cup semi-finals that they've got against Chelsea, which are big games sandwiched in there. But you look at the teams that have gone, I think, is it Jurgen Klopp? I think Mourinho, I think other managers who've gone on to sort of win titles have gone and won the Carabao Cup first. They've used that as a springboard. I know when we hadn't won the title for 3 years, in 2004 through to, I think, 2006, I think then we won the Carabao Cup first the year before, and give the young players who hadn't won the title before a lot of confidence. So I think if Arsenal can go and win the Carabao Cup, get a medal round the necks, that really could catapult them forward.
I remember was it 2 years ago, Arsenal were out of every competition, and everyone said it's great. I think it was two or 3 years ago, in a really good position, and they were out of every competition, and people said, "Oh, it's great, Arsenal have a clear run at the league," and they ran out of steam at the end of it. I know they have a stronger squad now, but they're the challenges you face, because these games coming up, including the Chelsea game, they're going to be physically and emotionally more draining but they do have the squad to deal with it. That's why they've spent so much money.
Do they actually need those games, though, Roy, to actually satisfy some of these players who aren't getting Premier League minutes?
Because what happens again, if you start playing tricks in your head going, oh, we need 3 weeks, and then lads are agitated all week and you're trying to do training sessions. I think players, before playing games, particularly if you're winning, that gives you momentum. It gives you a little routine going, we're not even games, particularly if you're winning. To me, that gives you momentum instead of being out of every competition and going, we've not got a game for another week. I think it's the games you need. I think it's good for your sharpness. It's good for the rhythm of the team. And when you've got a big squad, it gives players opportunity to go and play some games.
We're playing 11 against 10, and they didn't show, what it takes, sometimes to go and win that game. They did it against City here as well in September when they conceded the first goal, and they were losing confidence. But I remember, I don't know, guys, we won titles, and we all know that winning the Premier League is very difficult, and sometimes, you get points after points, It's a long way to go. So today, I think, at the end of the season, that could be a very good point.
Yeah, and I think if you look at Mikel Arteta, if you said to him before this midweek set of games, Arsenal had the toughest, game of playing against Liverpool. So Manchester City, you'd have expected them to win. Aston Villa had a game as well. They've got out of these set of fixtures, 1 game less, a difficult game out the way, and no deficit in terms of against their rivals. So overall, okay, little bit of a missed opportunity, maybe. But I think if you said to Mikel Arteta 2 days ago, you're still all going to be, on the same points as Villa, Manchester City and Arsenal, it's still going to be 6 points ahead, he would have absolutely been delighted, because that's the hardest game of the lot.
Yeah, and we don't have to play Liverpool again. You know what I mean? The way I see it, obviously, from an Arsenal point of view and an Arsenal fan point of view, I don't like to see Bukayo Saka being taken off. As much as, Noni Madueke came on and done well, I like to see Saka a match stay on. If you're going to bring Madueke, bring him on for someone else, because I just want the best players on to give us the best possible chance in the end to maybe take that corner, whatever it is, what he can do, Saka, to be on the pitch to do that. So I know that he needs rest as well, but I'm always baffled to see a player of that calibre, that good, being taken off for someone else. I was very surprised with that.
Manu?
Well, he's not the only one, that has not been very good today. I think he had a good first 25 minutes. He took advantage, on Kerkez many times, but they were missing, technical skills at the end for the passes and great movement as well in the penalty area. But he was not the only one. I think Odegaard as well had a very difficult game. Gyökeres as well. So there is so many players who have been frustrated today.
But overall, Manu, before we let you go, 1 defeat in 18 Premier League games.
That's what I'm saying.
They're learning, they're gaining experience and belief all the time, aren't they?
Of course, and I remember, I don't know if you remember him, but again, when we won the title in 1998, we had a game in winter, during winter, in the midweek. No, against Liverpool.
Against Liverpool.
We drew 0-0, and we were booed by the fans at the end.
Yes.
It was a terrible game. We were terrible. We didn't deserve to get...
Even Wrighty was terrible, wasn't he?
We all were terrible. It was a frozen night,
It was freezing, yeah.
We drew 0-0, and we thought ourselves, we didn't deserve to win that game, but at the end we won the title.
Yes.
Let's hope that's an omen.
Yes.
Listen, good to see you. Thank you very much indeed. Manu Petit, as always, with us. Let's get some more Arsenal reaction now. Here's the skipper, Martin Odegaard.
Hello there, everyone, and welcome to Transfer Talk. I'm Dharmesh Sheth. It's a new year, and that means one thing. The transfer window has officially reopened. And to discuss the latest on all the big deals, I'm joined by Sky Sports News football correspondent Rob Dorset and ESPN's Sam Tighe. Plenty to discuss. Not least, Sam Tighe, I was going to say Christmas jumper, but...
we started.
I've gone straight in.
He's gone straight in.
You said off air that it was winter attire.
That's what the catalogue said.
Yeah?
That's what I'm sticking to.
Very good.
There's no Rudolph on this jumper.
There isn't?
No.
Is it new?
It's newish. I would say in 2 degrees or lower, a turtleneck is completely justified these days.
Fair enough.
To be fair, it looks good.
Yeah, thank you.
It does. It does. And Rob, good Christmas, good New Year?
Yeah, it's been busy, hasn't it? I blame Manchester United, but lovely, thank you. How about you? Did you get any time off?
I did, yes. Thanks very much. I had Christmas off for the first time in a number of years, and was in salubrious Windsor.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah,
too.
my cousin was hosting, so
You part of the royal family, or is
no,
it
no,
just-
no, far from it.
No, you've been
we did
ostracized,
we did
yeah.
walk past the castle though, yeah.
Okay.
As you do. But yeah, it was very, very nice. But away we go again. It's relentless. The transfer window is open. Rob, the name is a giveaway. It is the Transfer Talk podcast. But the hiring and firing of managers obviously plays heavily into that. Are you surprised? Or are you going to give me the nothing surprises me in football, Darmish, that Manchester United and Chelsea have both made a move on the managerial front just as the window opens?
Yeah, I am surprised. I think they did both come as surprises because it felt like both head coaches almost engineered their own departure. And look, I've spoken to people who know Ruben Amorim very well and say that's categorically not the case. He didn't want to get sacked by Manchester United. But I think, look, we could do a whole series of podcasts on the role of technical directors, sporting directors, football directors, and the power they now have in big Premier League clubs and in Europe as well. And that we've seen that at play here, that they both, Maresca and Amorim, fell out with their bosses above. And they were clearly both very unhappy with that arrangement. And they didn't last very long in their jobs. I think the speed of both of them was a surprise, especially Amorim. I mean, look, you know, we heard Maresca saying a month ago